right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Gradcast. This is Morgan Bodnar, Assistant Director of Admissions and Graduate Counselor. Very happy to have you here joining us today. Today, we're talking about our one of our graduate programs, the MBA program. So one that holds a little bit of special to my heart here, but we do have Dr. Tony Koss here with us. He is our program director. We're going to let him introduce himself and say a little bit about what he does here, and we'll jump into some fast facts about the MBA program. So, Tony, what do you got?
Morgan, thank you very much for having me today. This is a wonderful opportunity to spread some of the word about the MBA program to people who may be interested in it.
Yeah.
I started at Thiel in 2019. I spent 33 years at Youngstown State University before coming to Thiel. I was a faculty member, starting an instructor, assistant professor, associate professor, full professor. Then I did some things administratively in terms of department chair. I was the MBA director there for about 10 years, and I was an associate dean for another 10 years.
So around the block a time or two.
I have been, but just the opportunity to come to Thiel and to be the founding director for the MBA program here, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Awesome. So when did you then officially start here at Thiel and with the MBA program being new and whatnot?
Well, I started officially in August of 2019, and then we were able to kick off the first program in July of 2020.
Yeah.
And, in that time, a lot of interesting things happened with COVID and things like that. So,
COVID threw us all a ringer, so.
But you know what? The nice part was that the people at Thiel, we were able to continue to work and do what we do. We ended up recruiting during COVID and everything else that went with it. And, now we're getting ready to start our fifth cohort of people in 2024 for the class of 2025.
Hey, that's awesome for sure.
The program was 11 months, so, we started typically July, August, or January, and we have a, rolling admission now. The program has continued to evolve, and I think that, to be viable in the market, you need to do things like that. So we went from, primarily a full-time, program only. We've evolved to now where students can come part-time.
Okay.
And rather than taking 11 months, they can finish in 22 by taking classes either only in the daytime or only in the evening. So it's kind of a little bit different. We're adding some more things with technology. I think COVID did that to all of us in terms of being able to adapt and be flexible, and we're doing that. At some point in time, if the program continues to grow, I never want to lose the face-to-face component and always want to have that option available for students. But we may, at some point, add an online component to the program or a full-time online program.
For sure.
In the future.
Nice.
We will go to where the market is and go to where the students are and make sure they have an opportunity to obtain a degree that is going to help them in their careers.
Awesome. So you mentioned, that you started a little bit more full-time, going now a little bit of a non-traditional, having the part-time option, different things like that. So how are you adapting the program kind of to the students? How are you looking at all of that? Are you sending surveys? Are you just doing what other schools are doing?
No.
What are you doing? Or how, I should say.
Well, it's a combination of all of the above.
For sure.
Because, we always keep in touch, with our previous graduates, and we ask them their perspective. We're constantly surveying new students to see, what they're looking for. You watch trends in a marketplace and see what the competition's doing.
Yeah.
And, the big part of it is that there's a program for anybody who wants it, doing anything they want at some place or another. My question is how I'm able to, how do we best keep a program in line with the things that we do best?
Awesome.
So it's more about, there are obviously a lot of different directions you could go, but if it doesn't align with our strengths, maybe that's not what we need to do right now.
For sure.
We could build strength in different areas, but you want to make sure that, you're able to, do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And offer a program that's quality to students.
So can you share a little bit of how maybe the program shares some more flexibility just in general? Like when are classes offered for students for the full part-time? How does that work?
Well, classes typically are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have two time slots, 1 to 4 p.m. and a 6 to 9. A full-time student would take 2 classes at one time. There's a total of 12 classes in a program, approximately 6 to 7 weeks per class, and you never have to take more than 2 at once. Now, somebody who's part-time, they could choose to take either the daytime class or the nighttime class, and as long as they're consistent for the entire 2 years, time, cycle they would be in,
Yeah.
they could finish up, on a part-time basis that would be more conducive to, to a work schedule.
Okay.
So, that's one of the things that we do.
You mentioned kind of students and the diversity of them and who you kind of have. So what is the typical Thiel College MBA student? What do they look like?
Right now, the typical Thiel College MBA student, for the most part, we have a lot of students who are, they graduate after 4 years and they decide that, at this particular point in time in their life, they would like to continue on and get an MBA. So we have a majority of students probably fit that mold. We have students who've come back after 10 years in the workforce and decided to go full-time for an MBA.
Yeah.
And now we have students who are working full-time, who are working on their MBA part-time.
Okay.
So it's, it's really
You have a mix.
Yeah, it's evolved. It's changed. And I think that's a good thing. And I think that we'll continue to expand our market as we move into, some possible online permeations where it may involve only a single day on campus rather than 2 days on campus.
Hey.
Those type of things.
Those things change as the years go on, and you live and you learn, and you're flexible, and able to evolve the program. Sometimes you just got to get your feet wet.
You do, and the other thing is you got to offer a product that people want.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we try to do. Again, as long as we stay within our lane and focus on our strengths.
Yeah, for sure. So what is it that you look for then in a student? Since you have a variety, you have the working professional, you have full-time, you have part-time, you have just out of college.
You know what? I look for people who want to learn. And, the possibility of having business students is great. And we have probably at least half our students are undergraduate business majors, but the other half aren't.
Yeah.
Psychology, many different areas who've been quite successful in the program. We're able to offer a course with another company we partnered with that allows students to, if they're not undergraduate business students, kind of catch up just a bit.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of at the same level when they get started. So, we're able to do that. And, honestly, I've had, very good success with some non-business students.
For sure. Well, and I mean, let's be real. I mean, every business and every company could use somebody with an MBA, no matter what the undergrad is. As you continue to move up in the world, that's just what happens. You manage.
And many people are finding that professionally, an undergraduate degree may provide you an opportunity for an entry-level position, but as you want to move up in the organization, obviously an MBA has a certain skill set attached to it that employers find desirable.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say is like something about your program that makes the Thiel College MBA stand out? Why should a student come through our program?
I think the first thing I would say is we have very strong faculty. And I think the faculty that we have are able to give our students and I say this in all seriousness, a world-class education.
Yeah.
The faculty that we have are people who have been very successful before they've come back to teach, and many of them continue to be successful while they're teaching. So a student's going to get an education not from somebody who's only learned things in a textbook, but somebody who's actually been there, done it, and are still doing it. So
hey, that's important.
It is. And I think that's one of the hallmarks of our program is the strength of our faculty.
So can you provide some examples? Who are some people that you have, and what are their experiences?
Well, we have John Kamalchak, who is a lawyer. He continues to practice actively, and he's, has an undergraduate degree in accounting. He's an attorney, and he's able to, when somebody talks about or teaches a class in business law or in ethics, this is a person who lives it every single day.
Yeah.
He teaches our corporate finance class, and not only is he, teaching, theories from the text, he's worked in finance, at the highest levels of organizations. Steve Candre, worked in international marketing for a luxury hotel chain, and he still consults with them.
Okay.
So I mean, those are just a couple examples, and I don't want to slight anybody or leave anybody off because, many of our faculty, all of our faculty,
Yeah.
have those types of experiences. So.
For sure. Well, and don't stress about that. Over the time of the podcast and whatnot, I plan to have majority, if not all of them, at different points so they can share their experiences a little bit more in depth.
And the other thing, and I don't want to miss out on, sharing with the audience, is that we're very much an experiential program.
Yeah.
And, what that means is, you asked about students coming in and what they're like coming in, and, many of them are young and, fifth-year students, but nobody graduates without being ready for the job market. Now, we ensure that a number of different ways. The first thing is that our students are grad assistants. Now, to obtain a grad assistantship, it's going to reduce your tuition cost significantly, but you work 400 hours on campus during that 11 months, and you're going to do something that's going to help you career-wise. You're doing real things for a real organization, in terms of, depending upon, where your path wants to take you or where you want to go. We've had people work in accounting or people work in the finance or
everybody
finance.
has different interests as they go through.
But they actually get experience doing that.
Okay.
The other thing that we do as far as experiential is that we actually have a requirement, your last semester or one of your last semesters, where you do an internship and you work for an organization, outside of Thiel College.
Yeah. Okay.
And, it's a transcripted, graded experience that, will help you with things that transfer to the, to your resume.
So then how do, the GAs then work? How does the graduate assistantship function? Like, does everybody get that? How, a lot of schools, there's one or two seats, for those
pretty
GAs.
much everybody who comes in, is able to obtain a GA if they want it. Now, if you don't want it, I guess you could pay full boat and
well, who wants to pay full boat? Nobody.
Nobody. But everybody who is accepted and decided they want to come to Thiel has an opportunity for a grad assistantship.
That's awesome.
And as far as internships go, I get more calls from employers begging for interns than I have interns.
So a student doesn't have to go out and find them on their own?
Nope, they don't. If they do, and if they find an organization or an employer that they want to work with, we'll work with them to, make sure that we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we have more than enough internships for students.
Hey, that's even better. Making sure that the students have the experience is just as much key, like you said, to the actual degree in itself.
Well, and the other thing we do is we really work with businesses and faculty together so that the students, when they're taking a class, have an opportunity to apply those skills, for a particular company during their education. So if we're teaching a marketing class, they might be putting a marketing plan together, for a specific organization.
Okay.
So, I look at it, the students are really learning three different ways: assistantship, the internship, and then while, actually taking classes or working with real businesses.
Yeah. Well, and the way I see it too is that's just the hands-on aspects.
That is.
That's not the textbooks or material and things like that you're going over as well.
It's not. And I think that, we're trying to make our graduates as much workforce ready as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And I think, those are things that add to it. And, the formal education is no less important. But I think that if you only have that, or if you only have the other part, you're missing out. Well, I think that we really offer something that makes a student desirable.
Yeah,
from
for
the
sure.
perspective of employers.
Yeah. So, speaking of then employers, you've had the program up and running for a few years now, few graduating classes. Where are some of our students now?
We have a student who's working for the Department of Defense in Washington.
Okay.
We have another who's working for a CPA firm. One of our graduates is working for Euro Disney. So, those are three that I can think of right off the top.
Those are some big names.
They are.
The government in itself is huge.
But I think, the whole idea is that they're able to work, where they want, at the level they want. And I think our grads can compete with, students from any MBA program.
That's awesome. Even small town Greenville, Pennsylvania, small private liberal arts institution, they're definitely holding their own.
They are very
out there,
much so.
For sure. So, just a couple key quick things here, because we're going to wrap up in a minute or two here. But, so if I wanted to apply, when could I start?
We essentially have 3 start times. The bulk of our students typically start in July. We do a residency that we kick off. It's a couple of days. And then, they take 2 classes. And then the next 2 classes start later August. For students who, may miss the residency, they're able to join in August. And other students who graduate in December, rather than having them wait an entire, another full cycle to miss, we do offer the opportunity for students to start in January as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of a rolling admission. And I think that that's important not only for our full-time students, but also for our part-time students.
Yeah. So basically the application's always open.
Always open.
Easy, simple, to the point when it comes to that. You're not missing then dates or whatnot.
And the other thing I want to stress too is, in a prior life, working as an MBA director, you're always looking at trends, trying to figure out what works best and what doesn't work best and how our students are going to be most successful. And I did a lot of studies where I would look at incoming students. I looked at GPA. I looked at GMAT scores.
Yeah.
And what I found out was that when I got to kind of make this program my own, the thing that probably least correlated with student success was a GMAT score.
So you're not looking at that at all then?
I'm not looking at a GMAT score.
That's really convenient.
Well, I think that, one of the best indicators of future success is past success. So students who have been able to navigate college and be successful at it, obtain a degree, they're going to get the opportunity to, reach for an MBA program.
That's awesome.
To hold somebody back because we're looking for a number that they don't hit, but they're a high GPA or been successful, to me doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, or even too, some people, they've been out of the workforce for 15, 20 years and wanted to go back. Those test scores mean nothing at that point.
Exactly
How
right.
much do they do? Like you said.
It's a hurdle that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's really convenient as well, too. I know when I was thinking about graduate school, just the thought of taking the GRE was stressful, let alone the application process and actually going through a graduate program and whatnot there,
So
too.
they would fill out the application online. We would look at their transcripts from their undergraduate institution. They need to write a small letter of intent that tells me why they want to get an MBA. They will do an interview process with either the Graduate Studies Committee and a number of different people. We will evaluate them and make a decision.
So pretty simple process.
Very straightforward. The application costs exactly $0.
Even better for college kids, no question.
And then, once we make a determination, the people that are selected for the program are able to, put down a $250 non-refundable deposit and secure their position.
So fairly simple, to the point.
It is.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I think that, the philosophy here is that we want to give everybody an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that, for me, that's one of those things where, you look at and you try to take everything into consideration. And, sometimes people are high flyers right out of high school and they continue to be high flyers.
For sure.
Others kind of stumble along the way and we give those people an opportunity too.
That's awesome.
So it's one of those things where we try to make the program as accessible as to everybody. Mm-hmm. But we do maintain a high degree of rigor.
For sure.
So.
Well, yeah, you have to have that, and you want to make sure that students are able to make it through, the program.
Right.
as they're going. So, well, awesome. So thanks very much, Dr. Koss, for joining us today, going through the application process and telling us a little bit about the program. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point. We'll go in some more detail about some different things here as we're going through. But thanks, everybody, for joining us here today. Keep an eye out for some more episodes coming here soon. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in for Gradcast. We'll talk to you later. Bye.